Hi, in this one, we're going to be going ahead with question 5 of our programming workbook or the questions workbook that can be found in the section 11 resources. So let's just get on with it. The question is titled String Palindrome, and it says a string is a palindrome if it is identical forward and backward. For example, ANNA and CIVIC, level LEVEL and HANNAH are all examples of palindromic words. Write a program that reads a string from the user and uses a loop to determine whether or not it is a palindrome. Display the result including a meaningful output message. Okay, so first off, let's understand what is a palindrome. A palindrome is basically a string, or what is a palindrome string? A palindrome string is a string which, if reversed, it is basically the same. So in this case, if you reverse this whole word Anna or the string Anna, it's going to be the same from the left side and the right side. Same with the word civic, same with the word level, and obviously same with the word Hannah. So we need to write a program where a program takes a string from the user and then it basically tells the user whether this string is a palindromic string or not, and we need to do this using loops. So let's just get on with it. You could just create a new project for this question and well, we could start. The first step would obviously be taking user input. So here, let's call this whole user input user string and make that equal to an input function which says kindly enter a word. Awesome. So now when the user enters a word, we need to check the word from the left side and from the right side, so from forward and backward. So now if the word, for example, is Anna, then our program first needs to go from 0, 1, 2, 3 position in the string and then needs to compare it with -1, -2, -3, and -4 positions. And if those are equal, that means that our string is a palindrome. So let's take a very easy way to do this. Now, in this case, let's create a simple list, right? So we could write forward list equals this and backwards list equals this. Yeah. So the forwards list is basically going to scan the word from left to right and the backwards list from right to left, and it's going to store each alphabet as a list item. Let's see how to do that. So for I in user string, what we want to do is forward list dot append I. So that basically just scans the list from left to right, because let's say the string is Anna, then it goes from I equal to A, N, N, and A right here, correct? Now for the backwards list, we need to do something different. So that will be for I in range. And now when we write the range, what we need to do is we need our range from a certain number to a certain number. So do you think we could start from -1 to, well, the range, like the length of the alphabet? I think this would really be easier using a while loop. So in this case, let's create a new variable called I, which equals -1, because we start from -1, and then you want to go until the end of the word. So basically, and you want this loop to run until the length of our word. So if this is -1, this word has length of 4, so that's -1, -2, -3, and -4, right? So we can write while I is less than or equal to our user string length multiplied by -1. So that basically makes the length of the user string. So in this case, it would be 4, so that would be -4, which really just helps our case. Now, once this is done, what you want to do is you simply want to write backwards list dot append user string at position I, and then in your update statement, you want to go from -1 to -2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on until the length of this list. So you simply write I equals I minus 1. So this is a new update statement for you. This is the first time you're using a negative or a negating update statement. So that's that for you. Now let's just print both of our lists. So I'm simply going to print forward list and I'm going to print backward list. Oops. Awesome. So now when we run this, it says enter a word. Now I'm going to write a word that is not a palindrome, so maybe I'll write phone. So our forward list basically does this, but our backwards list is, well, empty. Why do you think so? So in this case, what we're saying is our I equals -1, and the loop runs while I is less than or equal to this the user string length minus into -1. So -1 is never lesser than -4. So this condition is false always. In this case, we need to write I is greater than or equal to -1 because -1 is always greater than -4. So, well, we needed to do that. So now if I run this and write phone again, now you can see that we've got the forward list from the first alphabet to the last alphabet from left to right, and the backward list from the last alphabet to the first alphabet from right to left. That's awesome. Now what we want to do is we want to see if we can compare lists. So how would you check if you can compare lists? I mean, obviously I know that we can or we cannot, but how would you be sure when you're coding and you have a doubt in your mind? This is a simple trick that I use, and I just would simply create like an L1, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'd also create an L2, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll print L1 equals L2, which is a Boolean expression, right? It's a condition. So if this gives me true, that means Python can tell if these two lists are equal, right? So I'll just run this, probably type some random word, and now it says true. So Python's able to tell that it's equal. But we also need to know if Python can tell whether it's false. So I'll write 1, 4, 3, 4 this time. And when I run it, it says false. So yes, we can use these Boolean expressions to tell whether a list is equal or not. So finally, what we want to do now is simply write if forward list equals backward list, then you simply print this is a palindrome string, else print this is not a palindrome string. So let's run that. Let's try Hannah. It says this is a palindrome string. Let's try phone. It says this is not a palindrome string. Perfect. So our program basically works, but there's still an issue here. So if I write H-A-N-N-A-H like that, while the word is the same, the case is different here. So let's see if Python actually recognizes this as well. And now it says this is not a palindrome string, simply because in Python it's a case-sensitive language, and an uppercase H is different from a lowercase h. So to fix this, what we could do is we could simply go ahead and when we take the user input, you would simply want to add this function or append this function to this input function, which is called the lower function. And what this does is when the user types some kind of an input, it simply converts that input to all lowercase, just like we saw in our string section. So now all we'll be doing is we'll be working with lowercase alphabets or lowercase characters only, so this whole issue goes away. And now if we run this and try the same thing, it says this is a palindrome string. Awesome. So this was pretty much it for this question. It was pretty simple. If you have any questions on this one, just put them down in the comment section and my team or I will get to you ASAP and with the best answer as always. And well, have fun and I'll see you in the next one.